recording, hopefully. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the TravelMole Covid-19 special interviews. And today we've got a very special guest, and his name is Mal Barritt from Traveltek. Good afternoon, Mal.
Afternoon, Graham.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, good. I mean, I think like everybody is probably in the same position. We're just trying to get through this passage of time that we're all going through. And, I think what I've been trying to do is obviously focusing on the business, which we can talk about obviously in a second, but just on a personal level, just the way of getting through this for me has been all about exercise, trying to get healthier, lost some weight, put some back on with alcohol as you'd expect, but just generally trying to keep healthier and fitter, and doing a lot of reading as well, which is not something I often get the chance to do. So I'm not, in that regard, quite positive actually.
Have you acquired any new skill sets? Have you now play classical guitar, or you've taken up the violin?
Not quite, but managed to do a little bit of DIY. I can now put a picture up, so that's a first for me.
Well, that's easy. That's just a nail in the wall, so hang it up. So, but more seriously, you've now been running a technology business for almost 3 months in extraordinary circumstances remotely. But I get the impression from lots of people that it's not without its benefits. Have you found anything to your benefit in the way that you've been running the business over the past 12 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think our experience at Traveltek's been pretty positive actually, Graham, because we closed the office around about 16, 17 March in East Kilbride and mobilised everybody from home relatively very quickly, and then put a lot of robust communication structures and processes in place. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits I've seen from our team is the level of communication that we're now seeing across the business. It's kind of forced us to communicate more. It's forced us to engage more. And I think genuinely our sort of working together as a team has improved significantly. We've seen huge gains in efficiencies and productivity as a result of being confined to home and having to operate with the virtualized organization. So now, I suppose the question, of course, always will come up, is that sustainable? And the answer to that is probably not. That said, what it's helped us reflect on is what sort of operating model do we want to have in the future from an employee point of view. And we're very much going to go change the model and have a hybrid of home working and office space. So going forward, our team will be able to come into the office two days a week, 3 days a week, and work from home 2-3 days a week, which has been unprecedented really in the history of Traveltek as an organisation.
Outside of the obvious issues with COVID-19, with health restrictions, social restrictions, everything, do you feel as if you've got a happier workforce in this environment? Working from home a couple of days a week. I know they're working from home all the time, but you think that there will be a happier workforce?
Yeah, I think in the main, yes, is the answer to that question. I think what we've tried to do is be very empathetic to each individual, because whilst we're all trying to adapt to how to work, do your job in the current environment, we also must remember that every individual is also going through a personal journey as well, because there's a lot of people having to homeschool children. There's a lot of people who haven't seen their family for a significant period of time, and it's fundamentally changed people's lives on a personal level. So we've tried to balance out, the support side and the empathy and the sensitivity towards people's personal needs, as well as, ensuring that we can support them during, their normal daily routine of working for the company. So it's been a delicate balancing act, but we ran a staff survey 6 weeks ago, and the results were phenomenal relative to how engaged people are in the company, how positive they are about the future for Traveltek, and generally in really, really good spirits. So yeah, can't really complain. Good.
As far as the company's concerned, you've mentioned that you're going to slightly rearrange things once lockdown is over, and wouldn't say we return to normal, because that would be a slight stretch, I think, in the short term. But are you set up for what many people think will be a bursting of the dam of demand for overseas holidays with your technology, with your support services?
Yeah, yes is the answer to that, and I think there's a long way to go before, of course, we see a big recovery in the travel market. Hopefully, we'll have some good news this week in terms of, air bridges being put in place at various different destinations. Hopefully, there'll be a review of the quarantine restrictions, and those will be relaxed or eliminated. And obviously, what we need also is the Foreign Office advice to change as well from a consumer confidence point of view. So I think all of those things, are making good progress, and as they are relaxed or removed, we should see a bounce back in the travel market. Talking to a lot of our customers, they're already saying that sales bookings, new bookings, are around about 25% of last year's levels. So that's encouraging. There is, without question, some green shoots starting to appear in the market and in the industry. I don't think there'll be a huge impact. I think we'll get back to maybe 35-40% levels in July, and then maybe up to sort of 45-50 in August, with perhaps getting to 60-65% by the end of this calendar year of where people were sort of this time last year in terms of sales. As far as Traveltek goes and how we support that, absolutely, our infrastructure, we're partway through a migration into the Amazon Web Services cloud-based infrastructure environment. So we've got a number of customers already in that environment, and we've got some existing customers still in the legacy infrastructure environment. So we've got the best of both worlds at the minute, and a significant amount of capacity in both infrastructure should there be a significant impact of traffic and transactions on the database.
Now, with your conversations with your clients, do you find that they will be leaning on technology even more so in this post-COVID world than perhaps they were before? And within that group, let's assume for now they say yes, they may not, but if they're saying yes, is there a divergence between, say, tour operators in the traditional sense and cruise operators? Cruise and tour being different in their technology demands and indeed their outlook on how technology can help?
Yeah, I think when all of this first started, every business was very much in survival mode, and how do we manage our way through this from a cash perspective, and how do we protect as many of our employees as we possibly can, and also how do we protect our customers, the consumer. So you had a lot of focus on all of those three aspects, and I think the demands that we've been getting from our customers have been along the lines of how can we automate processes for them, for example. So the refund credit note, which of course has made the news quite a bit over recent months. You had a number of customers who had significant numbers of bookings into the thousands, where they needed to apply the credit note to them. So we were able to be on hand to automate that process quite quickly. In addition to that, a lot of customers were asking for a lot more reporting so that you could sort of get a view on things that were either happening in their business or potentially could happen in their business. So we were able to support that quite rapidly as well. And I think the demands now going forward, customers of ours are now starting to look at, one eye on the rest of 2020 and also looking forward into 2021 now. They've kind of managed their way through the initial survival part of all of this happening. But I think in terms of differences between what customers are asking us for, yes, there is a difference. We're getting a lot of cruise operators asking to get a demo of our new tours product, because whilst a lot of them have repackaged cruise with other land-based product, it's been fairly manual. So we launched a new tours proposition back in January, and there's a real opportunity there for a lot of cruise travel agent operators to take advantage of that tours proposition and automate and control their trading more effectively, perhaps, than they would have done previously using manual processes. So that's one big difference. And then with our tour operator customers, for me, it's all about how they can automate more of what they're doing, because every travel business still has a lot of manual processes. So we're working very closely with Traverse, our third party, to find opportunities for our customers to get more efficient, be more productive through better automation tools.
Good. And do you find there is any regional difference in that? I mean, obviously, Traveltek are not just a supplier to UK, they're a supplier globally. Have you noticed any difference between, say, your UK clients and your North American clients in what they're demanding, what they want?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference we've noticed with the North America market specifically is that it hasn't eased. We have been working, when all of the initial lockdown happened, our sales pretty much dried up, as you'd expect. CapEx budgets were throttled back on by a lot of travel companies. Then we had, of course, the situation whereby, customers are looking at their business and literally just trying to survive. But where in the UK, it's slowed significantly. In the US, it's kind of carried on as normal. And we're continuing to fulfill the order book that we had as normal. And I think, we're working with airlines out in the North American market, cruise lines, and they've just decided to carry on. So I think in terms of general movement of projects and how things are moving along in each market, the North American market for us hasn't slowed. Are they asking for anything different? There are some nuances in that market, so we are fulfilling some product obligations that wouldn't be relevant for the UK market, as an example. So to give you an example of that, travel insurance is a big thing in the North American market. So we're looking at how we integrate various different travel insurance suppliers into our platform to be able to enable those customers' requirements as effectively as we can.
Good. Final question, Mel. You've spoken about you're going to have a slight change in the way that you operate with your staff in coming into East Kilbride, that you have a number of new products. Do you think that Traveltek will come out of this with a new brand? I'm not talking over here of necessarily a new logo, but a new image, and you're going to have your tech guys going around the office playing basketball like they do in Google and all that sort of thing. Is that with open-toed sandals and t-shirts? Is that the sort of thing that you're going to try and emulate as far as your image is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the last 12, 14 weeks has given us all a great opportunity to reflect on things that are going on in our business life. And, without doubt, I've been reflecting a lot about the positioning of the company, where it is today and where it's going to be in the future. And we are absolutely we have used this as an opportunity to look at what the future is like for Traveltek. And I guess there's probably three areas strategically that we're going to focus on. One being a relentless focus and reinvestment into our core platform. We have the award-winning platforms of iSell and iBoss, and we want to continue to invest in that as our core product and proposition, and to stop doing a lot of the things that we have been doing in the past that maybe we haven't been as productive at. So we're going to get quite ruthless from that point of view. The second thing is to ensure that we are providing the best-in-class platform to connect customer and supplier. One of Traveltek's biggest strengths is its capability to integrate many and multiple different types of suppliers into the platform and creating what we call a travel ecosystem. So there'll be a significant amount of investment going into that as we push forward into the future. And then the third thing is developing a new product line around data insights. We see a huge opportunity, specifically in the UK, as a starting point to provide the industry with some useful data that enables customers and third parties and suppliers to understand what's going on in the leisure travel space, because I think there's a huge gap there at the minute in terms of meaningful data, in terms of trends, and we want to be at the forefront of that from a Traveltek point of view. So I think there's going to be a lot of new things coming our way as far as Traveltek is concerned. And of course, we want to modernize the company, and we want to provide a flexible operating environment for our employees and be an employer of choice. So there's a significant amount of investment that will be going in to our people. Just recently launched this week a management development program for our senior managers. So whilst a lot of people might be throttling back on training and development budgets, I see it as an opportunity now to really try and harness the skills and the talent we've got in the business and invest in the key people and ensure that they are growing as individuals and as a collective, so that we can push Traveltek forward into the future. Good
man. Mal, thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best of luck with your changes, and the hope it works out smoothly. It sounds very exciting.
Thank you, Graham. Have a good day.
And you. Cheers.
See ya.